He's getting older.
That is totally absurd.
But not wiser.
Pour some sugar on me.
This is The Lefty Show.
Welcome, everybody, to The Lefty Show. I am your host, Lefty. Glad to be here with all of you today, Monday. Happy Monday to everybody out there. The 25th of August in the year of our Spaghetti Monster 2014 for episode number 79 of The Lefty Show. 79 episodes strong, creeping ever so closely, ever forward towards episode number 100. And thank you for joining me. Welcome on, welcome all to The Lefty Show. Hope to put on a great show for you today. I thank you all for watching, liking, favoriting, and subscribing at youtube.com/LeftyOX, which is where you can find the show in its YouTube formation. Thank you to everybody that's been following me on Twitter. Twitter.com/Lefty643 is where you can do that. I thank you all for sharing the show, helping the show grow by sharing it with friends, family, and coworkers. If wherever you get your podcast, if you want to listen to the show mobily, you want to take it on your mobile, head on over to leftyshow.podbean.com for the RSS feed manually, or wherever you get your podcast, Android, iTunes, or the iOS, where other podcasting apps. Just search The Lefty Show. You'll find us there. And thank you to everybody that's been donating as well. I'mRaising.com/643 Productions is where you can go to donate to the show. I didn't talk about this last week. It was unfolding last week, but I didn't really feel a need to talk about it because I don't know, it seemed like a silly topic, but people have continued to talk about it, and so I'm going to talk about it. And that's the issue of Zoe Quinn, who is an indie game developer who was recently the object of a torrent of hate. Standing waves of humanity were coming to get you, get her, after it was her ex-boyfriend posted on his blog detailing her serial infidelity. Again, they weren't married, but I believe they agreed to have a monogamous relationship. Given I wasn't there. And if I was there, then it wasn't a monogamous relationship. But I would assume that they both kind of agreed, because you do that. You get your girlfriend or a boyfriend, and you just kind of, the default setting to me is monogamy. It's just that's the default setting. You just assume it's like Price of Right or The Price is Right. Scoring. Whenever you're guessing something. We're going to guess what. I went with Katie. We have a change dish where, when you buy something with cash and you get change, what are you going to do with that? You don't carry around change like, oh, I hope I can make exact change. Ooh. You put it in the change dish. And then, after a while, you take it to a bank and you get a wad of cash, $20, $30, maybe even $50. And then you go out to dinner with it, right? Because it's like found money. You weren't going to use it anyway, so you use it, take yourself out, treat yourself to something nice. And we were walking into the bank, and I said, okay, what's it going to be? And she said $50. I said $35. She won, but I told her, I said, and we're going Price is Right scoring on this, right? Closest to the actual number without going over. Because to me, that's the default setting. Whenever you are trying to guess some number, I always default to Price is Right. None of this like, oh, it's the absolute difference between, even if you were over, but you were only 3 over, but you were 6 under, I win because I was absolute value closest. And then no. Default should be, we as humanity, at least in our society here in America, I don't know if the Price is Right has made it over there to the British Isles or other parts of Europe. It's probably based on some UK, some BBC show anyway, as much of American television is. But we need to make a stand in our society. It's time we need to. There are certain things that we don't need standards for, but one is it should be taught in schools. where if you're guessing with somebody about the unknown value of something, the number of beans in this, the actual number of beans in this jar, how many? How many do you think? It's not absolute value closest. It's the closest to the actual number without going over. And yes, that means there can be those people that will say 1. Yes, because that's a strategy. You just say $1. You just assume everybody else is going to go over. You don't even have to worry about it. If you believe in your heart of hearts that everybody is over the absolute value or the actual value, you just say $1. $1, Bob. $1, Bob. That's all you got to say. We need to set that standard. I need to, the Department of Weights and Measures. We need to get them in on this. This needs to be attached to an omnibus bill of some kind, where it is decreed to the American people that the default setting, the default scoring system for guessing some unknown value is Price is Right. It's got to be, because that's the best. That's the best. That's why they do it. Bob Barker did a great job with it for 45 to 50 years, however long he did it. Closest without going over. So similarly, when you enter into a romantic relationship or a sexual relationship with somebody, unless you say otherwise, right? Because you default to Price is Right scoring. But if you, in a special case, you want to go, no, it's absolute value, the absolute value of the difference. Okay, but you have to say otherwise. Otherwise, I'm going to default to Price is Right. Similarly, unless you say otherwise, you're in a monogamous relationship with somebody. I mean, at least that's how I go about it. Whenever I entered into a relationship with somebody, I just kind of assumed, this is you and me. That's it. Unless we say otherwise. So apparently, Zoe Quinn didn't get that memo. Her boyfriend thought that they were on the same page. Zoe Quinn said, no. And he detailed on a blog, went into sordid detail about how Zoe Quinn would regularly go out on, when she would go to conventions or, go travel to some place, she would be with other people in the industry. And it was ongoing. It was serious. I caught you once, now stop, right? Okay, I'll stop. But it was habitual, and he detailed it, and all these things. And if those two adults agreed upon, hey, we have this social contract that governs our relationship, and one of the terms is monogamy. That's what we want. That's the way we want to go about the sexual partner thing. And if she habitually broke that covenant, okay, that doesn't mean she's necessarily a bad person. I mean, now she will tell you, being an ultra feminist that she is, and immediately when I hear that, I'm like, oh God. Tell me, with your massive social media following, your successful indie development games, your platform to speak your views to everybody, and your education, tell me about all the oppression that you've received. Please tell me, with your social media following, with your education, with your successful business, please tell me all about how you're oppressed. I can't wait. I just want to hear this. I read an article about from a black law professor talking about Ferguson on CNN.com earlier today. And it made me so angry that I didn't even want to cover it. But it was about how this black woman, she was talking about the plight of black people and how they're oppressed. But it was a series of anecdotes of how, well, I'm educated. I'm a law professor. I have a law degree, and I'm a tenured professor at a university. And my husband's educated, also a black man, and we have 3 black children, all boys, 2 of which just are going to graduate and are educated, never have any problems, have never had any run-ins with the law, have never had anything really bad happen to them, and we have just a really nice existence. But she was writing and telling those anecdotes about how black people and her are all oppressed. I'm like, what are you talking about? Please tell me, with your education, your tenure, your kids that are educated and are probably going to go on and maybe even follow you into the law field. And Holden Caulfield. God, I hate that book. Please tell me about how you're oppressed. Please, I can't wait to hear more about oppression. Please. Okay, thank you. Yes. There's just a series of, other people told me that sometimes bad things happen to them. Okay. So, right off the bat, when I heard that Zoe Quinn was, just a hardcore feminist, I'm like, oh, man. And I tried really hard to not be predisposed to dislike her. And after reading about the topic, and I follow Jim Sterling on Twitter, Total Biscuit as well, and they both talked about it. Boogie2988 touched on it as well. And it's not that I don't like her. Okay. She broke the social covenant with her boyfriend, and it is my business because he put it out in the public. If you got a problem with that, Zoe Quinn, take it up with him. It's everybody's business now that he thought you had agreed to be monogamous with him, and you said, no. And any chance you could get, you go, hey, what are you doing over here, partner? Oh, you report on game journalism? Oh, here. Okay. Well, I don't want to be in a relationship with you. And neither does he. It is my business because it was put out in public, but all right, she's not a bad person. It's just you don't want to be in a relationship with that. If you are okay with that, if you are okay with a person you are in an emotional and physical relationship with going out and about and at any time with other people with people that aren't you, okay, then there's no barrier to entry there. Then go, and she has no barrier to entry. So there you go. You're perfect for each other. Okay. If you don't like that, and if you want somebody to be monogamous with you, then Zoe Quinn off the list. That's it. Not like, you're evil. You're an evil person. No. She just likes sex. Okay. So what? I have a hard time, personally, my personal feelings, my personal desires, and what I personally look for in a person to be in a relationship with are irrelevant here because I've known when I was in college, I knew a lot of girls that were considered loose. They would go around and, hey, you bought me a drink. But I knew lots of guys that would do that too. It was just anything, and it was, go around. And I was the dichotomy was not lost on me. The double standard was not lost on me. The girls that would go around and do that certainly looked down upon. Ooh, you better watch out there, big stroker. She's gonna get you, and she's gonna leave you with something that's gonna get you for quite a while afterwards until you get some penicillin in you. But the guys did it. Yeah, bro. Pff, good job, man. Awesome. And I always had a problem with that. Because, this girl or these group of girls, they like sex. What's wrong with that? Okay, they like to go around and have sex with multiple partners, maybe even multiple partners at the same time. Okay, good for them. I don't want to date them. I don't want to be in a relationship with them. I don't want to be in a sexual relationship with them. That's just not my thing. But just because it's not my thing, and were somebody I am in a relationship with to do that to me, or do that independent of me, I would say, well, wait a minute, hold on a second. What about this thing that we had going on here? Oh, that's not cool. But you go out and you have sex, okay, so what? So you like to be, I even hate using the word promiscuous because it's got such a negative connotation, but you just like putting your giblies out there and having people do things and getting your giggy and all over the place. Okay, fine. What the hell? What's the problem? Yes, Zoe Quinn, surprise, surprise, human, likes sex. She just happens to be someone who the, quote, traditional relationship paradigm doesn't apply or doesn't like. She doesn't fit with that. She doesn't jive with it. That's okay. All right. Oh, so Zoe Quinn okay, she slept around on her boyfriend who thought that she wasn't going to do it. Okay. Well, there you go. Now, the big component of it is, the reason everybody's so miffed at Zoe Quinn and going on crusades against her and apparently this makes me a, what is it, SJW? Is that social justice warrior? Is that it? I don't know. I saw SJW. People were throwing around acronyms, and I'm an idiot, so I don't know what the hell people were talking about. You're an SJW. No, you're an MRI. Oh my God. What? I don't know what these things mean. I got nothing for you. I'm just a big dumb dope. But the big issue people had with it was the partners, Zoe Quinn's sexual partners outside of her relationship with this other guy. I don't even know what he did or who he is. Don't particularly care. These people with whom she was sleeping with, or with whom she was sleeping, there we go, were games journalists or people that would perhaps be in a position to use their platforms to promote Zoe Quinn's independently developed video games. You know, like, hey, you work at Destructoid. Is Destructoid still around? I don't even know anymore. Or, hey, you work at Kotaku. You know, how about a little in the back? And, you know, we promote my game. All of a sudden, Kotaku's talking about my indie game. That's the narrative people were trying to spin. And I disagree with that. Or I think it's erroneous to assume that. Because people that work in close proximity with one another are more than likely going to start doing the dirty. They're going to start being together, and then because you go to a conference, what do? I've never been to it, but I already know exactly what happens. You go, and you do the conference thing, and you play games, or you promote your game, or you report on things. Well, then the conference is over, but you're there for like 3 or 4 days, and the conference doesn't start back up until like noon the next day, or 1 o'clock even. And so you've got this big block of time. What do? You go out and drink, and you smoke, and you party, and you have a good time with people that you work with in a close proximity all the time. And what do you think is going to happen? Of course there's going to be sexual attraction there, especially if you are a person for whom the normal, quote, normal, what is accepted practice with respect to sexual promiscuity, if those guidelines don't apply to you or you don't jive with them, well, then you're going to, hey, big stroker, how about you let me be your big stroker for a night? There we go. Yeah. So it happens all the time. All the time. Female reporters are in the sporting world, routinely. All of a sudden, female reporters just happen to have a significant other. All of a sudden, there will be a relationship out of nowhere, or even an engagement. And it's an athlete at the time. And you wonder, how did that happen? How do you think that happened? Michelle Beadle, great pundit. I liked her better when she left at ESPN. I think she was better without the mothership. But all of a sudden, Michelle Beadle supposedly, after covering the Brooklyn Nets or the NBA for a while, so all of a sudden, there's rumors that she's been, with a Brooklyn Net guy and they're in a relationship. Well, how do you think that happened? It's okay. It's technically frowned upon, but these are human beings, not computers. You put people close together. You put adults close together, and there's no actual restrictions on sexual activity. But keep in mind, it's not like they're going in the bathroom at the game conventions. Like, hey, drop it down. Okay, good. Let's go back. I got to cover this game. No, it happens the same way for them, the way it does for every adult ever. I mean, these aren't sexual deviants. They're just, you go out and you party and you're looking for someone to meet, and somebody says, hey, I'm looking to meet somebody too. And then there you go. That's how it happens. Okay. Yeah, the reporters, journalists that cover anybody that works in close proximity with some other, that works in a cottage industry in close proximity with a larger industry, specifically, especially in the entertainment world, there's going to be a lot of that. Happens a lot. And people in the sporting world have just accepted it. You know, you got guys covering female sports, and they're traveling with teams, and all of a sudden say, "Hey, how you doing?" You got female reporters traveling with teams and being in close proximity, and you're more likely all of a sudden they're going to say, "Hey, how you doing?" People have accepted it. But now in the video gaming space, it's, "Oh, what are you doing? Oh, your journalistic integrity. Oh my goodness." Listen to me. Here's the deal. If you honestly think, because a lot of people are saying, well, I can't trust games journalists anymore. I read a spot on Forbes. Forbes, for those of you that don't know, Forbes.com actually has great video game coverage. And it's from Forbes.com, which is as close to pretty close to a reputable news outlet that's covering video games. So if you're looking for something outside like Destructoid, because you quote Destructoid and people go, "What the hell is that?" Forbes.com, they've got a great video game guy that runs down and covers video games for him. But a lot of people are saying, "Well, I can't trust games journalists anymore because Zoe Quinn was able to apparently curry favor with her sexuality." And I say, listen, if you honestly think that somebody for whom you go to, or to whom you go to for gaming news, for unbiased, unadulterated gaming news, for the real hot takes, for their real opinion, if they're going to give you the straight dope on all this stuff, if you have that person in your mind and you honestly think that their opinion would be swayed or their prestige could be bought with a little in the back, what are you listening to them for about anything? If you think that, because it's not about, "Oh, I think so highly of you, so how could you do this?" No, if you think that, I don't know, pick a pundit. If you think Total Biscuit could be swayed by somebody, touching him in some certain areas, nicely, of course, then what are you listening to him in the first place? What are you listening to him for in the first place? How do you even reconcile those two things? You don't think highly of him. You think very little of him. You think very little of these games journalists. If you honestly think, "Well, this girl showed you her boobies and some other things, I don't know if I can trust what you have to say anymore." You didn't trust them in the first place. It is almost without a shadow of a doubt that their sexual activities occur completely independently of what they do professionally. Because here's the deal. They're not making enough money to be swayed that way. The only thing games journalists have is their word. Because it would be easy if if you've got a gig with the New York Times writing op-eds and just you whatever you want. Somebody buy your opinion, sure, whatever, fine, I'll write it for you. Here you go. Yeah, there you go. Good. Okay. Got the money in the bank, or I got, I feel better now after that release. It's easy to do that. But in the gaming journalism space, think about how many gaming news outlets there are. You've got Kotaku, Destructoid, GameTrailers.com, NeoGAF. You've got the NeoGAF forums. You've got Rock, Paper, Shotgun, I believe, and a whole litany of others. All of them are doing the same exact thing. The same exact thing. All they have is their word, and they're getting paid on. They're not backed by a large corporation. They're getting paid on page views, banner ads. And if their integrity goes away, if their word goes away, they go away because they're not making enough money now. They can't afford to risk pissing off the people that read and watch the advertisements on their websites. They would, and again, circling back, you can't. If you honestly think that I would, "Oh, this is the greatest thing ever," and trying to actually lie to you because somebody, what are you doing here anyway? I mean, if you think that, what are you doing here? What are you listening to me for anyway? If you think that little of my integrity, if you think that little of anybody's integrity, why would you listen to them in the first place? For anything at all. You wouldn't ask them the time of day. You wouldn't believe that, or you shouldn't believe that. If you think they would honestly be swayed by a little blah, 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 blah. Dude, don't ask them the time of day. Don't ask them what the weather's like outside. Don't ask them what the color of the sky is, because there's no trust there. So Zoe Quinn, okay, she broke her social contract with her boyfriend multiple times. All right. Maybe miscommunication. Probably shouldn't have done that, but certainly not the crime of the century. All right. It's not even a crime. She likes sex. All right. And she also likes sex. That's similarly not a crime. Not really anything wrong with that. And if you really think that people, journalists whom you follow in the industry, would be swayed by Zoe Quinn's vagina, then what the hell are you doing listening to these people anyway? All right. We're going to do some Would You Rather. Again, it was a big hit last time. Last time we did it on the show. This is powered by either.io.com. Here's a question. Either.io. Would you rather be hysterically funny or be absolutely beautiful? Speaking as somebody who is both hysterically funny and absolutely beautiful, let me tell you because I'm, again, nothing if not a peach and a laugh riot. Being funnier is probably better. I mean, you look at comedians and comedians, they seem to live a better life. Because, for me at least, when you're a comedian and you're a good comedian, which is assumed here because you're hysterically funny, you make people laugh. That's your job. Every day, your job is making people laugh. Something that you know is inherently pleasurable. You know that laughing and busting people out into hysterics, you know that that's a good time for them. At least you hope, unless they got some weird mental condition. And so when you go to work every day or every night as a comedian, because if I'm hysterically funny, I'm a comedian. That's what I'm doing. I'm not just like that guy that, I'm an actuary and then I just walk over to the water cooler and crack wise a couple minutes every single day. No, I'm going to be a comedian. I'm going on the road. Your job is to make people laugh. It doesn't matter what you look like. I watched a Louis Black comedy special the other day. Louis Black is not a good-looking man. Louis C.K. Nope. George Carlin was an old man. See who else? Who are some other good comedians out there? Joe Rogan. Well, he's cut. Big buff dude. But, what do you got? Now, 90s Joe Rogan, there's a picture of 90s Joe Rogan when he was working on the set of talk radio or news radio, I believe, whatever the show was. That's a good-looking Joe Rogan. He had it going on there. All he needed was the frosted tips. That was a good-looking Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan now, all right. It's just, okay, cool. I'm talking about the face. Now, you include the body and all that. Well, that's a different story. But your life as a comedian, your job isn't to look good. Your job is to make people laugh. And making people laugh, when people respond and laugh at everything you say, and we're assuming it's a laughing with you, not at you thing, okay, that seems pretty good. But being absolutely beautiful, your only job is to be beautiful. And what's more, people try to tear you down constantly. Constantly. People are trying to tear you down. You're not beautiful. Oh, this person's more beautiful than you are. You're screwing this up. You suck. You're not a good actor or actress, or you're wearing this wrong, or you're wearing this poorly, or you have some awful. There are entire magazines, many of them, like games gaming news sites. They crop up everywhere. The National Enquirer, the National Post, the National Star, Us Weekly, People, all these rags just talking crap about, they're solely dedicated to talking crap about beautiful people that society holds up. And they contract out to people, and they will pay a lot of money for somebody to take the worst looking photo of a beautiful person. Anybody can take a photo of a beautiful person looking beautiful. That's easy. We will pay you lots of money if you can find a beautiful person when they look like crap and take a picture of that, and we'll put it on our website. And or TMZ is another one I forgot about. They're more Schadenfreude, not necessarily just, oh, look at him being ugly. There's entire cottage industries dedicated to making beautiful people look like crap. Why would I want that? I don't see entire cottage industries making funny people not funny. I don't see that existing. There is not a cottage industry that is completely antithetical to what you try to do when you are a hysterically funny comedian. But when you're a beautiful person, you're walking around being beautiful, and there are people out there, those people taking the pictures aren't taking the pictures because you're beautiful. They're taking the pictures because they want to get that one shot where the light hits you wrong, you're coming out of the gym, you got no makeup on. And yes, I'm assuming in this one that I'm a woman. You're coming out of the gym and the light hits you wrong, and there's shadows under your eyes because it's high noon, and you're not wearing makeup because you just worked out and your pores are wide open, and they get that shot, and you just look like a crack baby. You look like a crack baby that was vomited upon by its crack mother. That's what and they go, got it, sweet. All right, here we go. That's what it's like when when your job is being beautiful. All right, let's do one more before we get to some news. If you were to play a board game every single day, would you rather only play Risk or only play Monopoly? I haven't played a lot of Risk. I played it when I was a kid, but I want to say that I have the worst luck, the absolute worst luck when it comes to Monopoly. I played Monopoly much more than I've ever played Risk, and I have the just worst luck. The only time I ever won when I was a kid playing with my grandpa, and I think I finally figured out why I was winning. When I would pass go, he would give me two 500s instead of 200s. And I was a kid, and I'm just, oh yeah, all right, take that, Gramps, gonna get you. But when I'm actually forced to play Monopoly for real, and I play the way, and get that crap out of here about how there's, when you pay luxury tax and you pay fines and stuff, that goes back to the bank and doesn't go into the middle when you land on free parking. That's crap. No. It's a 500 on the bottom, and then every single fine you pay goes into the middle until somebody lands on free parking, and then they get that, and then you put another 500 in from the bank. That's how you got to play. I don't want to hear any of this other crap. When I'm forced to play Monopoly for real, I suck. I'm awful. I'm the worst Monopoly player you could ever imagine. Right? I've got like Baltic Avenue, and I'm thinking of Oriental, and I'm like, oh yeah, here we come, starting it up, man. And then the other person, they get an Illinois Avenue, and then they get a railroad, or they get a utility, and then usually the second time around, either I land on something of theirs, or they just so happens they land on Boardwalk or Park Place with enough money for it. Then they buy the green ones, and I lose. By like the fourth turn, fourth time around the board, I'm done. I land on Community Chance, and I get the bad Community Chance ones, or the bad chance. There's no really bad Community Chest. But I land on Chance, and I get bad, like, oh, you got to pay $25. Damn it. I absolutely suck at Monopoly. Just awful. I read something. Apparently, Monopoly is able to be mathematically solved, or not solved necessarily, but there are many probabilities associated with Monopoly. And taking a statistical view on what or how the Monopoly board is constructed, the rules of rolling and all that stuff, you can play a certain way in Monopoly that will greatly increase your chances of winning. Because if you're playing, it's to the point where if you are playing this way, you will 9 times out of 10 beat somebody that isn't playing that way, because you're just hitting, because you know probability wise, you know what they're liable to do, and you know how you can influence what they are able to do or what they have to do relative to you, and all these things. And you can break it down to its, probability, percent chance on a roll that you're going to do this. The thing is, I'm not good with stuff like that. I'm not, the poker players that just know the percentages. They know the percentages of what they have versus what's on the board and all this stuff. And I can't do that. It's simple stuff. Hey, listen, dummy. All you have to do is remember these simple percentages. That's it. I can't do it. I can do advanced calculus, kind of. Yeah, maybe. Still kind of got a little bit in there. I can do some differential equations, basic differential equations, but still not easy stuff, right? Not easy conceptually, but I get it. I'm like, oh, okay, I understand this, and I can do it. I do the math. All right, cool. But you asked me to divide 32 by 4, and just give me the calculator. I need the calculator. I need it. I got to do it. So if I had to play a board game every single day, it would probably be Risk. Because the other thing about Monopoly is Monopoly just goes on forever. It goes on forever. And that's one of the worst things. One of the worst parts about being a bad Monopoly player is that when you suck at Monopoly, it's not like you suck and then you're out of the game quickly. No. Because every time you go around the board, you get 200 bones. So you're in the game. You're just in it constantly. The game tries to keep you in it, keeps you on life support. Where I suck. I don't want to go. I don't want to pass go and collect these $200 because I know I'm just going to end up on your properties the next time I come back around. I know that's what I'm going to do. I know I'm going to land on your utility. I know I'm going to hit luxury tax. I know that one's coming. That's going to happen. Oh, can I get community chest? Oh, it's the one where I pay you money. Great. Awesome. Thank you. That's exactly what I wanted. Oh, man, I'm down to my last $5. Maybe this'll get me out. Oh no, go $200. Damn it! All right, let's do some news. We got some great things to talk about in the news today. Today is Mike Brown is going to be laid to rest, and talk a little bit about that. A lawyer was disbarred for accepting a 243-pound pot shipment from an undercover cop. A Vermont restaurant removes bacon sign due to Muslim opposition and safety concerns, but that's crap. In a landmark ruling by the Oregon Supreme Court, animals can legally be considered victims just like humans. And an old man yells at a cloud in Florida and also calls the police on a teacher. Did you? No, Peter Roskman. No. Okay, I didn't shut down anything. That's what I did. Okay, here I am at TampaBay.com, and I was just gonna do the story. I had it open. It was open throughout the entire part. Where are we? 40 minutes into the show. It's been open for at least that long. As soon as I click on the tab to bring up the story, that ad starts playing. Congressman Peter Roskam. Biatch. Bunch of biatches. And this is from the Tampa Bay Times. It seemed like a scene out of a Norman Rockwell painting. T.J. Guerrero served cookies and strawberry country time at his lemonade stand with a wave and a smile. The 12-year-old had tested various locations and hours of operation before settling on 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Patricia Avenue and San Salvador Drive. He got a neighbor's permission to pitch a homemade yellow sign in the grass and sell his fare from Tupperware on a white card table. It's all about profit, said TJ, who had paired his lemonade earnings with lawn mowing cash for an iPod, snacks, his cell phone bill, trips with his grandfather, and dinners with his mother. But the boy's entrepreneurial spirit has rankled at least one neighbor who has emailed City Hall at least 4 times in 2 years and asked law enforcement to shut TJ down. Doug Wilkie contends that the Palm Harbor Middle School students' year-round operation is an illegal business that causes excessive traffic, noise, trash, illegal parking, and other problems that reduce his property values. Please help me regain my quiet home and neighborhood, Wilkie, 61, wrote. We're not in the business of trying to regulate kids like that, nor do we want to do any code enforcement like that, said Dunedin Planning and Development Director Greg Rice. We are not out there trying to put lemonade stands out of business. According to Dunedin records, Wilkie contacted city commissioners in May 2013 and followed up in October, then again in March and June this year. TJ lives four doors down from Wilkie, but places his stand on the shaded sidewalk in front of Rodney Shord's corner lot home next door to Wilkie's. Wilkie wrote that TJ's friends made noise as they lingered near the stand with their skateboards. Oh, those pesky kids and their noise and skateboards. The boys used profanity, threw rocks and debris that Wilkie had to pick up before mowing, and set off fireworks that scared his dog, he said. Once, a child accidentally ran his bicycle into the back of Wilkie's parked truck, damaging it. Oh, my God. Wilkie also said TJ's customers park in front of his home, an assertion that TJ and Schroed deny. This is just old curmudgeon-y white man. And I've had my bouts with old curmudgeon-y white manness. I've had it. The Elon Musk on Twitter. Twitter.com/lefty643 is where you can go to follow me, by the way. Elon Musk had SpaceX, one of their rockets exploded. They were doing a test flight. It was unmanned. It was an unmanned mission. And there was a problem. The flight control detected a problem with the rocket and detonated it in flight. It wasn't like it was just, oh, crap, it exploded. But Elon Musk, okay, rock star. Everybody loves him. Everybody loves Elon Musk. Musky. Oh, Musky. Everybody loves him. And he took to Twitter. You know, he's the head of Tesla. And I love Elon Musk for giving away Tesla patents, putting them in the public domain. And I love him for that. And it could be a shrewd business move, but at some point, I can't be that much of a cynical biatch. I've got to believe that, or I don't have to believe, but I want to believe that he did it because it would further humanity, because he will take less, he will make a little bit less. It may have been a shrewd business move. Yes, I understand that. But I love him for that. But Elon Musk took to Twitter and announced the rocket failure, the test launch failure. And he signed off his tweet by saying, rockets are tricky. And it was just, again, the curmudgeon-y old white man. Hello, you mean me? Yes, you, because you're a voice in my head. The curmudgeon-y old white man in me just took over. It just, like, I turned off, and the angry white man, the angry old white man, in my day, I'm going to yell at this cloud. Oh, dear, the cloud, what are you doing? The old white man took over in me, and I just, Elon, you're hip. You're big with the kids. You're on the front wave of technology. I get it, all that. Your SpaceX capsule. Screw analog dials and, avionics and all that. Screw that. No. We're going with, like, iPads. All right, cool. You shun convention. I get it. And the kids love you for, okay. You know who wouldn't have, ups, we lost one, YOLO. NASA wouldn't have said anything like that. In the 50s and 60s, when NASA was pioneering spaceflight. Not any of this, private industry because there's a profit motive there. No. This was just NASA hemorrhaging money to beat the Russians just because we wanted to. When NASA was pioneering spaceflight, they lost one. They lost many. I don't care that Elon Musk's rocket blew up. I don't care. What do I care? Yeah, rockets are tricky. I get it. I understand. I just want a little class. I want you to show reverence to what you're doing. I want Elon Musk to not treat it as, oops, our bad. Oh, we lost one. No. I want you to show reverence to what you're doing. You are now carrying the torch because the government doesn't care. And yes, when a government isn't there to hemorrhage money into a program for space exploration, which may or may not yield a profit in the near future or even the medium future, when the government isn't there to do that, private industry needs to take the reins. And that's what Elon Musk is doing. And that's what SpaceX is. That's the best hope we have right now. And I'm not upset with that. So yeah, sure, go ahead and blow up rockets all you want. Kill people. I don't care. Sure, if it's furthering our knowledge of space exploration and our knowledge of propulsion technology, fine. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. I just want you to show, I would like to show a little bit of respect, a little bit of reverence for what you are doing. You're not making cars. You are pushing humanity forward, and I think that should be done with a little bit more class because NASA, again, lost a lot of rockets, killed a lot of people, killed them, just gone. NASA sacrificed the Challenger crew to satisfy the President of the United States of America. NASA or people at NASA were trying because the people that knew, they said, no, it's way too cold. It's way too cold. We need to scrub this launch. We can't do it now. What are you talking about? It's like 30 degrees outside in Florida. This can't happen. It's going to do exactly what it did to the O-rings on the solid rocket boosters. No, it won't do it. NASA officials, because President Ronald Reagan, or was it Bush? Was it Bush at the time? Anyway, the president of the United States at the time, I want to say it was Reagan, wanted the launch to happen because he had set aside some thing to watch it because, they were setting a black guy up and a woman teacher and it would fit in with the policy. And he wanted to watch it happen. And so the president made it known, I wanted to watch this launch. And NASA, there were officials at NASA running around trying to find people to sign off on the launch orders because the other engineers, they wouldn't do it. They said, nope, not signing that. We want to scrub. NASA, the higher-ups at NASA were going crazy trying to find people to sign. They finally did. They finally found enough people to commit treason to sign off on a launch that they knew shouldn't have happened. And they did it anyway. Oh, okay, now we can launch. And then, goodbye. NASA, or Challenger, you are go at throttle up. Roger, go throttle up. And then, done. NASA did it. And they were just, okay, let's go. But they did it with class. And it was, you had JFK and the astronauts were treated like rock stars. And it was just a big class act. It seemed, it had the air of classiness about it. And when they blew one up, they blew it up. They said, well, it's a sad day, but we're going to work really hard. We, figured out Apollo 13 and all this stuff. And it was wrapped up in a classy little thing. The result was the same. They blew crap up and killed people, but they weren't on Twitter. NASA won't take, I hope it never comes to the day where NASA takes to Twitter and goes, oops, YOLO, lost one, LMAO. We got a few more. Don't worry. Hey, did you see that? Did you see the hashtag VMAs? Nothing. No. When you pass a certain point, you got to show some class. So I've got a bunch of old white man in me. I've got the propensity to just be, shake my fist at society. Punks, get off my lawn. Just don't be punks when you're flying in space. You are representing the supposed best that humanity has to offer. You are our leading edge. Don't be punky about it. So I've got that in me. But, you know, it's a little bit much for a 61-year-old man to be... They made noise and used profanity. And one of them crashed their bike into the back of my truck, and my dog was scared. Oh my God. My dog. Oh. This is probably... I'll tell you right now. This Doug Wilkie probably has no relatives that want to come over anymore. I guarantee you he lives alone, doesn't have a wife, or his wife is long dead because she clocked out. You what? You're the kind of person that what? I got to get out of here. Let's go. Get me going. You know. And I guarantee you that his kids, if he has any, don't want to hang out with him anymore. They don't want to come over and see Gramps. They don't want to do anything like that because he's just a bitter old bastard. He's just an old bastard who's got nothing better to do. He's a baby boomer. I did this and that. He was told he's the son of baby boomers. He is the product of baby boomers who was told, you're the greatest generation ever. I'm part of the greatest generation ever, and now is just sitting at home just being angry at things. And trust me, I'm nothing if not somebody who's angry at things. Trust me, if you listen to this show, you know that. I'm not going to be shutting down some kid's lemonade stand. And even if I were to want to shut down some kid's lemonade stand, let's say there were valid reasons for it, I would do it myself. I would walk out on my lawn, wherever it is in this place, and I would go up to the kid and say, hey, Billy, you got to go. This is getting ridiculous. Because, you know, you're making a lot of noise, you're leaving trash here, and it blows into my lawn, and that's just not cool. Now you're either gonna clean it up, or I'm gonna come out here and break your table one day. That's what I'm gonna do. And you have a choice. Either clean up after yourself better, or I'm going to come out here and break your table. That's what I'm going to do. You have two choices. I don't want to do it. I'm glad that you take the time out. You spend 4 hours a day here. My God. But we can't have this anymore. It's not going to do that. I'm not going to go run straight to... You can't call the cops on him, man. You're calling cops on a 12-year-old. And the other thing I really like about this kid, he wants an iPod. I'm going to work for it. Oh, I want a cell phone. I'm going to pay for it, and I'm going to pay the bill. I love this kid. You know what? Good on you, TJ Guerrero. I like you. You've got something going. Props. We need a soundbite that's like the very few times like I like something, I need something that will be here.
Champagne room.
Welcome to the champagne room, TJ Guerrero. In not so champagne room news.
Champagne room.
In a landmark ruling, the Oregon Supreme Court this month passed a landmark ruling that will change the way animals are treated under the law in the state for the better. The ruling will ensure that any animal can be seen as a legal victim in a case, affording animals more basic rights to protect them from abuse. The ruling was made on the case of a man who was convicted of starving 20 horses and goats on his property. The judge's decision allotted a separate count of second-degree animal neglect for each animal, noting that each animal was a separate victim on his own. The distinction might sound obvious, but it wasn't legally accepted at the time that Arnold Nix, the defendant, was first convicted in 2009. During his case, Nix argued that the law defines animals as the property of their owners, so the word victim shouldn't apply to them. As of this month's hearing, the word victim does apply. To acknowledge that animals are victims of crime, that's really common sense to us, said Laura Dunn, staff attorney for the Animal Legal Defense Fund in Portland. And the ruling could lead to longer prison sentences for those convicted of animal abuse in the state. This isn't the first time the issue has been addressed in law. According to a Michigan State University report, It is a novel idea that entities other than humans can be considered crime victims. Businesses, corporations, neighborhood associations, and government entities have been defined as crime victims in state statutes. Including protections for animals as crime victims is a natural progression in the development of the law. Now, in the comments, interestingly enough, because first of all, I'm a dog lover. I love dogs. I go to r/on Reddit all the time to look at the cute puppies. However, if there comes a time where I have a dog, and if the dog's limping, if it's got really bad hips, and I can't pay for the operation, if I can't even pay to put it down, I'm going to kill that dog. I'm going to put it out of its misery. I'll find a way, borrow a gun or something, and just done. Put it out of it, quick and supposedly painless. Find a way to put it out of its misery because, again, putting the dog to sleep. No, you're killing the dog. Just say, first, can we stop that, please? Oh, I had to put my dog to sleep. I had to put my dog down. You mean kill the dog? Well, but he was living a bad life. He was hurting all the time. I understand. I'm not disagreeing, but let's not obfuscate what you did here. You're trying to make it sound like it was good. No, I mean, it may have been good, but it's not. You killed the dog. You ended the dog's life. Did you not? Didn't you? Isn't that what happened? Is the dog alive? Is the dog going to wake up? Oh, no. So it's the dog's dead. Yes, and you made the decision to take the dog to where it was deprived of its life, right? Where it was rendered dead, killed, right? Yeah. And you made that decision. They didn't just take the dog from you and kill it. No, I made the decision. Okay, so you killed the dog. You had your dog killed. It's not asleep. It's not put down. It's dead. It's killed. You killed it. Because it needed to be killed. We need to stop. Sometimes people need to be killed. Sometimes. There's nothing more for you. Done. The dog was languishing in agony. It was crapping all over itself. It was crapping all over my house. It wasn't happy. It was constantly whining. So I had it killed because it needed killing. Yes. So there's going to come a time, and let me tell you right now, there's going to come a time where an animal rights group, an animal legal defense fund, legal defense for animals. What are we doing? There's going to come a time where a dog owner or a pet owner of some kind is going to be arrested because they had their dog killed when this animal legal defense fund decides that they should have done something else, that they should have paid for a surgery or some pills or whatever. That's what's going to happen. It's going to happen now. You just wait. I had no idea this was going to come about. No idea. Animals are victims now, huh? Well, now, okay, all right. So now they're victims. Now you can commit crimes upon them. Not you can be, because it used to be you were negligent with your property. And the idea that animals are like living things, it's like, okay, we kind of have to forget that they're living things and that we personify them because they are property. They're not communicative with, or substantively communicative with humans. They don't convey data. They don't really do anything like that on their own. So they're property. We're going to treat them as property, and you can be negligent with your property. And even that is a questionable precedent to set. Like, it's like, your dog was unfed and, unkempt. Animal abuse. Your property was unkempt and underfed and undernourished. That's animal abuse. Well, my car's out in the driveway. It's got nothing in the gas tank, and it hasn't been washed in 4 years. Am I going to get arrested for that too now? Is that a crime? It's my property. Piss off. But okay. I know I'm a dog lover too. Okay, I get it. But now, now you're a criminal. Committed 20 counts of animal abuse of animals, a tort committed upon each and every animal. 20 counts. That's a big deal. Now these things aren't property anymore. Now you're going to have to defend yourself from a dog. It's going to happen. Oh, and it's progressive. Ooh, it's good for animal rights. Yeah, okay, yeah. I don't disagree that it's good for them. But now there's going to be a farmer, because I saw in the comments people are saying now we have to go after factory farmers because now this is how we go get them, because now if they're classified as each individual victim, each one of those chickens that's not free range and is kept in a small coop and is just harvested for eggs and inseminated, artificially, now it's going to be, now we're going to go get them. This is the next step. This is how we go get them. And I say, yeah, it's great. You get to wear the progressive badge and, I'm fighting for the right. How do they have rights? How do they have rights? Rights are a legal concept. They're a construct of a human-constructed society. Okay, anyway. I just want to ask all these people that it's great, it's progressive. Now we're going to go after farmers who habitually abuse animals. Now we're going to go after the meat packing industry or the kill farms, all that stuff. Okay, fine, go after them all you want and serve your progressive agenda. I get it. Are you going to stop eating? That's all I want to know. Are you going to stop eating? No, right? Of course not. You're still going to go to the store. Are you going to stop eating eggs? Are you going to stop having eggs with your breakfast or putting eggs in your salad? Are you going to stop doing that? Are you going to stop liking deviled eggs? No. You're still going to like eggs, aren't you? When you go to the store, you're just going to expect the eggs to be there still. Isn't that right? You go to the store, do you ever go to the store hoping they have milk? Do you ever go to the store hoping they have eggs still? Hoping they have steak, pork, sausage, roast butt, shoulder? Do you hope? Do you hope they have lobster? No, you go there, I'm going to get lobster. I'm going to get pork. I'm going to get eggs. I'm going to get milk. It's a problem if they don't have it. You have a problem with it. You go, where's all this stuff? You're a store, you're supposed to have it. So I don't want to hear anything from anybody when they have to wait in line now to get eggs, when they have to get on a voucher program or in some kind of lottery to get eggs. Because the reason why factory farms exist, the reason why kill farms kill en masse like they do, and it's inhumane, all this crap, the reason why they do it is because we eat a lot of stuff. We eat a lot. We need it. What are we doing? Are we just killing them and throwing them away? Like, oops. I hope there are people that are going to buy these eggs, or I hope there's going to be people that are going to buy all these slaughtered pigs that we just inhumanely slaughtered. I hope. No, you're filling an order. That's why you're killing them. That's why you're putting the chickens in the coops. And just having the crazy like Rube Goldberg machines that get the eggs down and then you bleach them and all that stuff. You're filling orders because we eat them. We use them. We do all. You want to say, now we get to go after, now because animals are victims, man. Now we get to go after the farmers, man. Well, then, okay, hippy dippy, big stroker. I don't want to hear you crying when you have to wait in line to get milk. When you got to do that, I don't want to hear anything. And you better not come at me when I bitch and moan because I have to wait in line to get milk too. Because you decided that animals, even though they're not part of our society, they're victims just like you and me. All right, fine. Let's live in that world for a while. See how you like it. All right, let's bring it home. Another great episode of The Lefty Show. I thank you all for joining me. I had a great time putting on the show. I hope you had a great time listening. Thank you to everybody for watching, liking, favoriting, subscribing on YouTube. YouTube.com/LeftyOX is where you can go to find the show in its YouTube formation. You can also find gaming content, vlogs, all of the sorts of content there. YouTube.com/LeftyOX. Thank you to everybody for following me on Twitter. @Lefty643 is where you go to do that. Stay up to date on all the latest and greatest Lefty Show news. Twitter.com/Lefty643. Thank you to everybody that's been sharing the show. Really, everybody, you've been helping the show grow and you help keep the show growing. Head on over to leftyshow.podbean.com to find the RSS feed or wherever you get your podcasts. Android, iOS, iTunes Store. Search The Lefty Show. Find us, subscribe. Be sure to download all the episodes that you want to listen to. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you to everybody that's been donating. imraising.com/643 Productions. Anyway, guys, this is my time. I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you next time. I'm out. Bye.
champagne room.